After her mom died, Nori watches children outside her window, noticing their talent. Nori wonders if she is special, like the other children, then she sees a cat and smiles. Right away, Nori begins turning into a cat. Her dad, Augustus, enters and is surprised to see his daughter can do magic. Now, Nori is older and making a video about going to a special magic school. Nori doesn't know what will happen, but she believes everything will be okay because her best friend, Reina, is going to the new school with her. Nori encourages her friend, who can make fire. Reina feels unsure of herself, but Nori believes she's amazing and will do well at Sage Academy. Nori says she enjoys watching Reina make a sparkling fireball. After Reina does it, Nori tells her she uses her powers well. Reina uses the camera to film Nori as she attempts to use her powers. Nori changes into a mix of a cat, kangaroo, and beaver. When Nori is herself again, she wants to choose what she changes into, but Reina praises her and says she did a good job. Nori is still sad and does not like changing into different things, even though she always thinks of only one animal. Reina believes it's okay because learning to control their powers is why they are going to Sage Academy. Soon after, Reina and Nori go with their parents to the bus stop to wait for the Sage Academy school bus. While they wait, Augustus asks Nori how she feels, and she says she is worried. Augustus said it's normal because Nori's mom felt nervous too. Nori is surprised because her mom was a great magician, but Augustus thinks trying new things can be scary. Augustus then says he is sure Nori will be okay, and she agrees. A man named Scriff came from the woods and told the children at the bus stop to follow him to school. Then, he says bye to the parents and tells the children not to use magic while walking in the woods. Once the kids have said goodbye, Scriff leads them into the woods. As she walks, Nori attempts to speak with Andres, but he doesn't answer. Soon after, Scriff stood before an opening and asked the children to come with him into the gateway to the school. Reina is scared, but Nori helps her feel better, and they go into the doorway as a team. Suddenly, they get to Sage Academy and see students using powers. Reina sees students use fire. She thinks they are good, but Nori says Reina is better. Soon after, the new students arrive at the school and meet Ms. Nightslinger, who says she is the principal of Sage Academy. She tells the children they are special because they have magic, and they will learn to use it in a wise way. She then says Sage Academy has 5 classes, 1 for each power type. Kids who can make fire with their hands go to the fire class, and those who can fly a little bit go to the flyer class. Some students can talk to animals, others can move things with their minds, and some, like Nori, can change into animals. Nori seems happy and says she's a fluxer, but Ms. Nightslinger doesn't get it. She adds that students must pass a test for the advanced class. Soon after, Ms. Nightslinger and other teachers meet to grade students' work, class by class. First, we will test the flare class by having the children light a candle from 6 feet away. The first candidate wants to do something more important, but Ms. Nightslinger says the children should not try to impress people. She says they are learning at the school using the Sage method. When the boy follows instructions, he gets a card and must exit the room. After students pass, they get cards and wait outside. Soon after, a boy named Elliot can only make smoke come out of his hand, and Ms. Nightslinger says he is the first hopeless case of the day. Reina does well on her test and gets her license. Next, we will check the fuzzy class. In their test, each student can talk to an animal. Pepper, a flicker, was asked to pull a vase closer from 6 feet away, but she pushed it into a wall, breaking it. She throws the papers on the table, but even though Ms. Nightslinger seems unhappy, she praises Pepper's performance. Next, we will test the flyers. They must fly 3 feet high and stay in the air for 30 seconds before landing safely. When Andres goes, he removes his bag and flies up to the ceiling. Nightslinger says he isn't following instructions, so she tells him to come here. Andres's power is too strong, so he can't land safely. That's why he carries a bag of bricks to weigh him down. Because he can't land, Ms. Nightslinger asks Scriff to help Andres down with a ladder. Finally, the students will be graded on the Fluxer class, where they must turn into a gray kitten and stay that way for 6 seconds. In her test, Nori changes into a kitten that can fly, which surprises Ms. Nightslinger and the teachers. When she is herself again, the teachers seem unimpressed but give her a card anyway. Right after that, Ms. Nightslinger asks the new students to gather outside. Then, she tells them to look at their cards to find out which class they are in. Reina's blank card quickly changes to the flare's symbol, and she seems thrilled. Nori's card shows the letters UDM, which surprised her because there is no such class. The students go to class, but Ms. Nightslinger tells Nori to go to the woods instead. Reina asks Nori if she's okay alone before class, and Nori says yes. Nori goes into the woods and finds her magic class in a hidden bunker. She's surprised, but then Scriff opens the door as she wonders how to enter. Then he asked her name, and she replied she was told to attend the UDM class. Scriff asks her to join him, and when she does, she finds Elliot, Andres, and Pepper in the class. Scriff gives Nori a UDM uniform, but Nori is confused because it's missing the cool jacket that the other students wear. Scriff will wear her jacket, but Nori doesn't get it. Elliot asked if she didn't pass her test, but she said she amazed the judges. Scriff says she failed her test, just like the other students in the class who couldn't complete the task. They all have strange, broken magic, which is why they go to the school called Upside Down Magic, or UDM. Pepper wonders if they can still do magic, but Scriff says they will learn normal school things instead. Elliot is confused, but Scriff says they must accept they can't use magic now. He also said he makes sure they work well and stay busy. Plus, he takes care of the school by fixing things. Nori wonders why they can't use magic in class, but before Scriff can explain, Ms. Nightslinger arrives and says it's because their magic is the wrong kind. Nori thinks they can fix it, but Ms. Nightslinger disagrees. She also says that upside-down magic can't be real magic, and the kids can't be taught. Elliot wonders what they'll do next, and Ms. Nightslinger replies they'll stay in UDM class and wait for their magic to fade. She also says that magic is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it will stop working. Then, the students will graduate and start their careers. Nori doesn't get why they're treated that way. Ms. Nightslinger says it's to keep everyone safe. She then says that until 1939, students with unusual magical development were accepted like everyone else, but that changed when a student named Reginald became a vessel for dark magic. Nightslinger says shadow magic only makes trouble. Reginald's shadow magic was almost impossible to control, so they are not risking UDM students becoming hosts for it again. The kids are sad, so Ms. Nightslinger says they must stay in magic class until they can't do magic. When she's gone, Scriff teaches the class and asks everyone to write about how they feel about losing their powers. Instead, Nori says she will try her best to control her magic and become a true Fluxer. A professor, Argon, greets the new Flare student. She said she was honored to be there. Then, she explained that soon 2 top students will be chosen for a competition. The winner will perform for the school's Founders' Day as a Flare. Then, she explains to the children what it means to be a Flare, and asks Reina to demonstrate what they will learn. Professor Argon says Reina should do well because her evaluation was very good. She put corn in a bowl and asked Reina to make popcorn with her power. Reina makes a mistake, and Argon is sad as he tells her to sit down. A girl, Chundra, waits outside and looks oddly at Reina. The next day, Scriff brings the children to a storage room and shows them brooms. Nori thinks it's a broom that can fly, but when she tries, she falls. Scriff explains they will use the brooms to sweep the floors all day. Nori sees the Fluxers in Professor Han's class while she is sweeping. Professor Han lets the students see a kitten and explains what it looks like, to help them change into it. Nori draws the kitten in her book. Han lets students touch it, so Nori moves closer, hoping to hold it too. While Nori cleans the yard where Professor Han teaches, he looks surprised and says UDMs shouldn't be close to normal classes. Nori says she is only sweeping the yard, but then she takes the kitten from Professor Han to see it closely. When she tries to become the kitten, she changes into something unexpected, shocking Han and the other students. Scriff finally arrives with the other managers and tries to help Nori relax so she can turn back to normal. Soon after, Scriff prevents Nori from having lunch in the cafeteria. Scriff wants Nori to know she can't use her magic anymore, even though she doesn't get it. He also says he wants to keep her safe, and Nori says she gets it. After he tells her she can have lunch, she goes to the cafeteria and sits with the other team members. As they talk about what Nori did, Andres finally speaks and says he liked the animal Nori changed into. This surprises his classmates, but he explains that he only speaks when he has something important to say. Reina spots Nori in the cafeteria, but Professor Argon prevents her from reaching her. Reina doesn't get it, but Argon says Nori will distract her. Reina seems sad about this. When she sits down, Nori is puzzled and wants to know what Argon told her. Nori says she will keep trying to become a true Fluxer. Her classmates don't know how she'll do it, but she believes she can master her magic and interrupt the Sage match to prove that students with unique magical attributes can also perform real magic. Andres believes she can succeed, but Elliot and Pepper are not as confident. Reina is alone and sad because she can't talk to Chandra, but Chandra sees her and smiles from afar. Later, Reina practices making popcorn by herself. Philip does well in Professor Argon's class and impresses him. Argon claims he is the top student right now, and she must pick his opponent for the Sage match. When Argon asks Reina to make the popcorn, it's not as good as when Philip makes it, so the professor says she's the second best student. Reina is sad about this, but she stays quiet. Reina meets Chandra, who praises her work after class. Reina thinks she failed, but Chandra says Professor Argon is wrong. Chandra believes Reina is much stronger than Philip realizes. Reina is grateful, and Chandra offers her assistance with her powers if needed. Soon after, Nori comes to see Reina while she is sitting outside. They seem glad to meet, and Nori wonders if Reina is doing well in school and has made many friends. Reina pretends she is okay and asks if Nori likes being with the UDMs. Nori hides her feelings, and the friends drift apart. Later, Reina tries to learn how to get stronger at the library. When she finishes, she puts a book back, and another book falls. Reina is shocked because the book that fell was about shadow magic. When she opens the book, the library lights turn off. Reina is afraid, so she puts the book back. As she packed her things, she noticed the book again and, wondering how it appeared, ran away. Later, we find out Chandra is in the library, making Reina read the book. Nori tries to use her magic with friends, but she still cannot hold a shape for 6 seconds. Pepper doubts Nori can succeed, but Nori is confident her magic will be effective in the Sage match. Reina felt sad when she saw Nori smiling with her friends the next day. Sitting on her bed, she spots the shadow magic book and looks surprised. All of a sudden, the book showed her how to unlock her hidden power. Thinking about her failed popcorn, Reina grabs the book, and the words seem to float around her before going inside her. Reina doesn't get what occurred, but she feels changed. Nori is not in class, and Scriff sees that. He asks where she went. At first, they act like they don't know, but Andre says she wants to show everyone UDMs can learn. Scriff asks her plan, and Pepper says Nori will interrupt the competition. Scriff was so surprised that he left the class right away. The Sage match begins with the flares, and Reina faces Philip. Reina makes popcorn faster than Philip. Professor Argon is happy to announce Reina as the winner, and Ms. Nightslinger says Reina will perform for the flares at the Founders' Day event. Nori interrupts and says she wants to show everyone her skills before the next competition. Nori refuses to go, even though Ms. Nightslinger tells her to leave. She tries to become a kitten, but instead changes into something else and flies away. Reina is sad, but she makes a bright fireball to help Nori become calm and normal again. As Reina does this, the fireball suddenly gets bigger, and she doesn't understand why. Finally, she hits Nori with the fireball, making her fall and turn back. Reina quickly apologizes to Nori, but Nori doesn't mind. Nightslinger tells Nori she won't be kicked out because her power is still a threat. She also says Scriff should keep his students in the bunker more often. She also says that Scriff will be fired if the UDMs misbehave again. Scriff is surprised, but Ms. Nightslinger says the UDMs can't go to Founders Day either. Nori's classmates are upset because she made them think things would improve, but they didn't. Nori apologizes and says she just wanted things to be okay. Scriff is sad about this, so he tells the students, "Come outside with me." He says Nori apologized before, but she didn't need to because she was just trying to be better than Sage Academy thought. He also says that he is sorry for letting Sage Academy's rules ruin their dreams. He regrets not helping underserved students discover their abilities, forcing them to give up on their goals. He says Nori makes him think their lives can get better. He says he'll help them improve, but the kids wonder how, since he has no special abilities. Scriff says that's wrong. He can sing to animals, but other fuzzies just talk. He explains he became an orphan and, having nowhere to live, stayed at Sage Academy to work as a groundskeeper and teach students like himself. Nori wonders how he still has powers, and he explains he practiced them regularly. Then, he said the kids would start training tomorrow. On the way back, Nori explains to Andres that her day started rough but then improved quickly. Then, she explains what she saw that made Reina's power seem changed. She thinks her friend has practiced a lot to improve her abilities, and Nori will try to discuss it with Reina. Reina goes back to her room and sees Chandra there with the shadow magic book. Reina asks Chandra what she wants. Chandra replies that she is there to congratulate Reina for winning and using her full power. Reina is surprised and says her fireball might have killed Nori, but Chandra explains it's a risk of shadow magic. Reina can't simply pick one thing and ignore the rest of the book. Reina tells Chandra to take the book and go. Chandra leaves, but Reina was shocked to still see the book in her room. When she opens the door to tell Chandra to get the book, she finds Nori there. Reina is surprised to see Nori, but hugs her right away. Nori asks to come in and talk, but Reina says no to keep her from seeing the book. Nori thinks this is strange but stays quiet. The next day, Scriff begins teaching the UDMs using a new method he created after studying the Sage Way 4 years. Instead of changing their powers, he asks the students to consider what they want their powers to accomplish. So, Scriff lets Andres fly without his bag to test how far he can travel. After that, he allows Pepper to use her powers to gather leaves, and Elliot attempts to use his powers to get rid of some bees with smoke. Scriff helps Nori practice imagining and creating mixed animals by having her trim the school's flowers. He helps her feel brave enough to transform. Scriff helps the children improve their powers, and this makes them happy. Reina feels sad because she is alone, watching her friends use their powers. Then, Chandra quietly approaches her and says Reina is the best. Reina wants Chandra to go away, but Chandra refuses. She says Reina read her book, so they are connected now. When Chandra suggests working together to become strong, Reina shouts at her to leave. Reina's classmates ask who she is talking to. When Reina says it's Chandra, nobody seems to know that person. Chandra then tells Reina that only Reina can see her. Reina is surprised and goes back to her room. Chandra stops Reina from continuing and tells her she deserves respect. Chandra says Reina reminds her of her friend Reginald, who always felt unsure about his abilities. Chandra says Reina is very strong and flawless. All at once, the room lights began to blink, and while Reina wondered aloud what was happening, Chandra announced that Reina was taking shadow magic into herself. Reina wants to stop hiding and become powerful herself. Chandra asks Reina to say she feels sleepy, so Reina says it and begins taking in the shadow magic. Nori happens to be at the school looking for Reina. Nori is about to go inside when she notices the lights outside are blinking, and she wonders what's happening. Nori walks inside and sees Reina's eyes are now black. Reina seems possessed, and when Nori calls out, The thing inside her says she isn't Reina anymore. Nori is surprised because she believed only UDMs could have shadow magic inside them. But the thing says it can control any person. It also says they will remove all students from the school, beginning with Nori. Nori urges Reina to fight back, but runs when the entity threatens her. Then, Nori tells Scriff and the others what happened. Scriff is surprised, saying it's probably waiting to attack. Nori believes they will find out at the Founders' Day ceremony tomorrow. Nori wants to tell Ms. Nightslinger, but Scriff disagrees. He says they need to rest and get ready for anything at the event. The next day, Scriff asks Nori to encourage the students to feel confident enough to face any monster. Later, the Founders' Day event starts, and Ms. Nightslinger asks Reina to demonstrate her abilities as the Flare class representative. Reina stands, makes a huge fireball, and announces to everyone that she will be the last thing they ever see. Then, she changes completely into a scary creature, surprising everyone. Nightslinger and the others on stage quickly hide, while the teachers tell the students to fight the monster. They can't beat it, and Ms. Nightslinger and Professor Argon are out of ideas. Then, Scriff arrives and says one class hasn't helped yet. Then, Scriff's students team up to fight the monster. Nori also becomes part dragon and part kitten. After she defeats the monster, Ms. Nightslinger tells the students to defeat it. Before they attack, Nori blocks the monster. Scriff and Nori's friends stand before the monster, and Ms. Nightslinger asks why. Scriff says Nori's friend is in the monster, so they can't kill it. Then, Nori becomes herself again, and tells Reina to try her absolute best. Nori says Reina is like a fiery rock star, but the monster still controls her. Reina makes a bright, fiery ball and uses it to defeat the monster when it almost hurts Nori. Reina faints, but wakes up when Nori approaches. The friends hug, glad to be together. The students applaud them, and Sage Academy leaders change the rules to include UDMs as regular students. Now, Elliot is a flare, Andres is a flyer, Pepper remains a flicker, Scriff teaches the fuzzies, and Nori shines as a fluxer. Even though Nori was first put in a class for students with strange magic, she still hoped to become a fluxer. She dreamed of being unique, and Scriff helped her become better and prove she was normal. This was also crucial because she and the other Ultimate Despair members protected Reina and the entire school from death. Nori's story proved that trusting yourself and liking your unique qualities can help you succeed.